I'm getting married in 2 weeks, and I am totally screwed. I need to get this off my chest because I feel like I'm going insane. My fiancée, Sarah, and I have known each other for about 6 years and have been engaged for one. Our wedding is scheduled to take place in just 2 weeks, and I just witnessed something that is making me feel like I'm making the biggest mistake of my life. Tonight, Sarah and I were taking a rare opportunity to relax at home. She was in the kitchen making dinner while I was out back working on a project. We live on some acreage, and I'm building a pagoda/fire pit in the backyard that we plan to use this fall. Anyway, as you do when you're doing heavy labor, I got thirsty and came back to the house to get a drink. When I entered the kitchen, I saw Sarah at the counter preparing dinner and talking on speakerphone. I recognized the voice instantly as my brother-in-law, Marty. This is where things got twisted. Marty asked Sarah where her sister, Evelyn, was because he had been trying to contact her, and she wasn't answering his texts. I heard Sarah say, "She just left here. She should be home in half an hour or so." Evelyn is Marty's wife of 5 years. I didn't immediately register what she had said. I went into the kitchen, grabbed a glass, and asked Sarah, "What was that all about?" She responded with, "Marty was looking for Evie." I saw her texting and asked, "What are you doing?" She said, "I'm texting Evie that Marty was looking for her." I poured myself a drink, sat down, had a sip, and then finally, my brain started to work. First off, I heard Sarah tell Marty that Evelyn was here. Evelyn was not here, and the last time we saw her was yesterday when she came over to work on some last-minute wedding decorations with Sarah. Secondly, why is she texting Evelyn and expecting a response when I distinctly heard Marty say that Evelyn wasn't answering her texts? Lastly, why would she tell Marty that Evelyn should be back in 30 minutes unless she either knows where she is, then why did she lie? Or she is, right now in front of me, texting her to tell her to get her but home quickly. The only conclusion I came up with is that Sarah is lying to Marty about the whereabouts of her sister and is probably warning Evelyn that Marty will expect her home in half an hour. I spent the next 5 hours concocting various explanations for this behavior, some decent, some downright horrible, and playing them back in my head. I wanted really badly to ask Sarah about this, but at the same time, if what I think is going on is happening, then I doubted I'd get a straight answer. Which brings me to about an hour ago. I woke up around 1 a.m. to use the toilet and couldn't resist the urge to check Sarah's phone. We both know each other's pins, so this wasn't difficult. Anyway, I grabbed the phone, retreated to the bathroom, unlocked it, and yup, it was exactly what I was afraid of and probably what most of you were expecting. Sarah's sister Evelyn has been having an affair for about 6 months with a coworker, and Sarah has been helping Evelyn cover it up for almost that entire time. There are literally hundreds of texts between them discussing it, discussing the coworker, discussing sex stuff, really embarrassing things about my brother-in-law, and probably uncharitable. Just stuff that makes my stomach churn. And here is my soon-to-be wife going along with all of it without batting an eye. I took some screenshots of the entire thread, put the phone back where I found it, and retreated to my home office to find myself here typing it all out on Reddit simply so I can avoid the primal scream that wants to come out of my mouth right now. I am totally 100% screwed. Reddit. I cannot marry Sarah. I just cannot do it. I can't think of any reasonable excuse she could offer me about assisting her sister in this affair and victimizing not only Marty but their 2-year-old daughter as well. On the other hand, my family, Sarah's family, and I have all sunk an enormous amount of money into a wedding that is supposed to happen in around 2 weeks. There is no way we are getting any of that money back. On top of that, I feel like an absolute fool. How did I not know this woman was like this? What the hell am I going to do? I can't marry her. I absolutely cannot. However, I still want to. She's beautiful, fun, kind, and I thought we had a bright future ahead of us. She's never done anything wrong to me, but I just can't see her the same now. It's like a big black stain on an otherwise beautiful picture. I just don't know how the fuck I got this so wrong, and I'm absolutely dreading doing what I know I need to do. I feel like I want to vomit or break something. Edit. Guys, you don't need to convince me not to marry Sarah. That's obvious. The wedding is off. I'm just trying to figure out my next steps and work up the nerve to do it. There's an incredible amount of pressure on me from the expectations of everyone, but I'm not going to buckle under it. I just am not relishing having to deal with the fallout, and I'm more than a little angry that I'm in this situation. Edit 2. It's 5 a.m. I have work in 3 hours, and I'm running off a couple of hours of sleep. I'm going to take a shower and head into work a little early to avoid Sarah and Stu on this. Thanks to the supportive people here and a big raspberry to the dillholes who keep saying I should figure out whatever good reason my soon-to-be ex-fiancé had for this garbage. Edit 3. I got into work around 7. No one was in the office, so I decided to start pulling off the Band-Aid and I called my brother. He lives in Australia, so he was still up after having just put his kids to bed. It was hard breaking the news to him about this because I know he has laid out a huge amount of money for flights for him and his family to come, but to his credit as an older brother, he didn't mention it one time and just backed me up. He made a great point too. He said, totally paraphrasing, "You work in a job where you have to deal with liars and scammers day in and day out. I don't blame you for wanting to have somewhere to go where this isn't a concern." He was totally right about that, and I get now why I am reacting so strongly to Sarah's participation in this deceit. He also had a great idea. He was going to take his family down to Florida to do some sightseeing and visit the parks. Well, now the kids will be accompanied by their uncle as well. It should be easy since we were going to honeymoon there, and we were planning on meeting them for a bit anyway. I'll just rebook everything to be closer to him and his family, and I'll offer Sarah's ticket to either my sister or another family member. I haven't had time to read everyone's comments, but I have answered a few. Right now, I'm just sort of making myself sick by drinking cup after cup of coffee and trying to distract myself until the day gets on enough where I can reach out to Marty. Edit 4. Just did morning stand-up. My stomach is doing flip-flops from drinking about 2 pots of coffee since I got in here so early, and I absolutely cannot focus and concentrate. I feel like I can't do anything really from my side until I tell Marty what I know. So I'm just going to take a sick day, drive over to his house, and see if he's around. If not, I'll call him and track him down. Marty is a teacher who is on break right now, and Evelyn works a 9 to 5 like me, so odds are good this works out. Wish me luck. Reddit. Edit 5. Got to Marty's house a little after 10 a.m. He had just put his daughter down for a nap, and we had a long, frankly brutal talk in the kitchen. Basically, he suspected this for a couple of months now, but Evelyn has been very good at covering her tracks, obviously with the assistance of Sarah and a couple of their mutual friends. I, unfortunately, do not have all 6 months of text messages, just a couple of dozen screenshots I sent to myself from Sarah's phone, but I gave him what I have and offered to help him however I could. I am a field analyst in the Special Investigations Unit of a mid-sized insurer specializing in workers' compensation fraud, so I know a few things and a few people. Anyway, I am now working from my laptop in my almost brother-in-law's kitchen, trying to salvage whatever I can. I'm going to have to talk to Sarah this evening and get the word out as fast as I can to my friends and family now that I know I won't screw Marty over. So far, I managed to rebook most of the honeymoon, although I had a problem with the ticket because Sarah was flying under her maiden name and our carrier has a surname rule for name changes. Anyway, they did allow me to cancel and get a partial refund and rebook to my sister, who will be accompanying her 2 brothers and nieces to Florida in a couple of weeks. I'm holding off on canceling the venues until after I talk to